definitely clients come with a clear underestimation of how complex and crucial the IT setups can be for the rollout of an efficient DEI and ESG strategy. And I myself, when I became the product manager of Manaos, I was surprised to see how tedious and boring and time-consuming the integration of the data and the data preparation could be. And so I've prepared a list of considerations and prerequisites that you, if you want your DEI data integration to be a success. And I'll try to accelerate on the list, and maybe we can come back to some of those points. But the first thing that I could think about is actually not an IT point. It's define and syndicate your DEI strategy. How does it fit into the overall ESG scheme? What's your definition of ESG, and what is the level of your ambition? Are you in a defensive approach or the proactive approach compared, the groups that we were talking about? So the answer to this question will determine the budgets and the approach to your IT setup. So very quickly, I transition to the second one. Once you've clarified, it doesn't have to be crystal clear from the start, but at least you need to clarify this thing. Then you need to identify who will consume the data in the short and in the longer term. Who will be the recipients of the data and for what usage? And the answer to this question will help you contractualize successfully with the data providers who will want, if it's for only internal research or redistribute to your end clients the data, or if it's only to publish an aggregated view in your website. It's really important to define that. The input and output formats, because all of the consumers, your internal consumers of the data, won't be using the same tools. So you'll have to anticipate the fact that you need to export the formats, export the data to those tools, the frequency of the data matching, the quality checks that you want to apply. It's really important to, at least once you've clarified the first 2 points, then you can better tackle the pain points linked to the data ingestion. And for that, you'll want to avoid the tedious manual handlings as much as possible in order to focus on what matters. That means the analysis of the results. And so our clients, investors, the ones that invest in funds, and especially asset owners, are often blind to the assets lying in their portfolio when they realize that they cannot rely on public outdated data to run a proper analysis. So we've developed a module at Manaos to help them do the look-through when they invest in funds, so that they can have the full breakdowns of their investments and start to work on their real exposure. So that's one first point to take into consideration if you invest in funds. Do think of the look-through before you select any data provider. The second is, another point is, when you connect to several data providers, and I think in a recent EY study, it showed that the asset managers in Europe that were interrogated were using an average of 5 data providers for ESG purposes. So if you need to connect to 5 interfaces, download 5 different files and combine them and copy and paste all the columns that you need to fit your data models, it becomes really time-consuming, and it's low added value. So you should definitely try in your IT setup to get rid of those low added value steps. Then our clients obviously struggle to define a matching and a proxy methodology. So Anders talked about it. You need to be sure that you understand, if you don't find any data to match your instruments in your portfolio, what is your view? Do you estimate it, and how will you do it? That's something to think about, and it's sometimes a pain point. And then our clients usually search a way to minimize all those low added value to develop the modules of calculation and aggregation that they need. And so doing so, they realize that the amount of work that is needed before they can actually work on the data is quite high. So we understand that sometimes they can hesitate. And we do think, well, we still see the clients coming to us and say, I don't intend to calculate any taxonomy alignment data, because taxonomy alignment, because the data is not there and because it will cost a lot of money to eventually know that, reveal that my score is close to 0. So why shouldn't I report directly 0 to the regulator and I'm done with it? And that's a point. But doing so, I think the investors miss the great opportunity to learn about how to understand the data, and they're losing precious time to competition. So my advice would be, and maybe I'll stop there to let the other speakers react to that, by saying that the sooner you start, the sooner the sooner you practice with the data, you learn how to handle it, the better your operating model will be, because you will be able to select the agile data providers, the agile IT providers that could help you focus on what really matters, the analysis of your performance at the end.